Previously on Transcend This Stage, I was talking about race wars. And what I forgot to actually include in the video is very important. How do you plan to communicate with your troops? If a race war breaks out, you're going to use your cell phone, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, Instagram. Well, all those are in the hands of other people who don't look like you. So how are you going to communicate with your troops? If they shut off your cell phone service and you stuck like Chuck, what are you going to do? I mean, some of you can't even survive without your smartphones. So right there, it already disqualifies you. But anyway, and then my last point is how you plan to protect your young, your old, your females, pregnant and not pregnant. How you plan to protect them in this time of war? Because you no longer will be considered a citizen of America. You become an enemy combatant because you supposedly at war. I'm just wondering, when people speak, do they really think about what they're saying, or they just talk? Nevertheless, that's that video. Let's move forward. And now let's carry on with our current discussion. ADOS. Oh yeah. Now, it says on their website, ADOS101.com/Black Agenda. We demand a new deal for Black Americans, included but not limited to. Now it says we need to set aside for American descendants of slavery. I wonder why the differentiation between Africa. Well, I know why, because there were some of the originators, Mrs. Carnell and Mr. Tomes, especially Miss Carnell. She seemed to have some type of, from what I can observe, some type of dislike for continental Africans, especially Nigerians for some reason. Because I remember one video I watched a while back, and I guess some Nigerian called some African American, I think it was a Akata, something like to that effect, and she was really harping on that video throughout the whole video. From then I noticed that's before they had this term ADOS, and I started noticing. I said, no, I can't watch this no more, man. Full disclosure, I used to watch from time to time, man. When it wasn't that anti anybody who's for the sake of this video I use the word black, and you know me, I don't like using that word, but for the sake of this video, any black person who was not from America, I kind of noticed that anti, keep those people on the side. They're not us. I started noticing. I said, wait a minute. It seemed to me they kind of have a deep-seated hatred for any African who's not from America. Huh. I didn't notice it so much when the other fellow was on there, Ironman. I can't remember his first name. It's Pompey. I know I'm butchering his name, and I don't mean to butcher it, so I don't mean any offense towards him. But I know that union between those two wasn't going to last too long, because I used to read the comments, and a lot of the people in the comment section, because they like to watch in the bedroom, they would always make remarks. Yeah, man, but his wife is European though. They use other words. You can't talk black and sleep white. So I know it's only been a matter of time before those two stopped working together. So nevertheless, I had to say that for a reason though. But now I started noticing, now coming from Miss Carnell and Mr. Moore, I started noticing a lot of this anti-African from the continental Africans, I started noticing more and more, and started saying what Barack Obama wouldn't be considered ADOS, or Colin Powell wouldn't be considered ADOS, and a whole bunch of people like, wait a minute, what y'all doing? All you're doing is dividing yourself into a smaller and smaller and smaller pool. Now I understand you want reparations, but at what cost? What's the cost? And you got all these criteria. You have to be. I tell you, y'all sound a little bit like those guys from Germany, man. Back under Hitler. You gotta be pure. You gotta be this, and man, be careful. Be careful. Y'all really going down a really destructive road, but you can't see it though, because cut the check. Interesting. But anyway, they had to say, we seek off of their website. I'm reading off of their website again. The website is ADOS101.com/Black Agenda. We seek a multi-billion-dollar infrastructure plan targeted to ADOS communities, included but not limited to the Black Belt, Flint, Michigan. And it has some other examination of published back in 2016, founded 3,000 cities where with poisoning rates. Okay, we all know what the water being poisoned in Flint. I understand what they're talking about, putting the money in there too, which is a good thing, for Flint. But it had something here that was quite funny when I read it in the first bullet point. If you go on the website, you'll see what I'm talking about. But it says right here, it says ADOS hiring and employment data must be demanded for all businesses receiving tax credits, incentives, and governmental support, as well as all governmental agencies, national, state, and local. We demanding, well, they demanding, because I wouldn't be quite qualified to be ADOS because I'm from the United States Virgin Islands, born a U.S. citizen. So was my mother, so was my grandparents. But you don't qualify. You ain't nothing. You ain't on the continent. You're not in America. You ain't nothing. That's cool. Hey, I support you. That's what y'all want to do. Go right ahead. I'm not trying to hate on nobody. So don't say, well, you trying to hate. No. If that's what you want to do, I can see the dangers of what you're doing, because as of lately, I'm just seeing them attacking people, attacking. Like, wait a minute, man, come on, y'all just divide. I understand you can have disagreements. I understand that there are some African people that have come to America, and some, like I said, some might be a small segment, but some that might feel they're better than some African. Well, sorry, you have to excuse me. I'm not used to the term ADOS, so ADOS. That some continental Africans might feel that they're better than some ADOS. I understand that, but you can't make that be the whole population of Africa. The same thing for the Caribbean. I understand there are some Caribbean people that feel that way. I'm not one of them, but I can understand your points and your grievances. I can understand that, But what you're doing is to actually separate yourself in such a small group, man. You don't see the dangers of what you're doing. Nevertheless, I'll continue to read this here. It has something else that's here it is. It says black immigrants should be barred from accessing affirmative action and other set-asides intended for ADOS, as should Asians, which I agree with the Asians. Latinos, I'm kind of confused. What exactly is a Latino? Where's that homeland? I'm kind of confused. Let me see if I can put it in the search window. Hispanic and Latino Americans. I'm trying to figure out what it means, because I'm kind of slow, because for some reason when I put Latino in the search window, it comes up with Hispanic and Latino Americans. Even I put just Latinos in there. Okay, here it is, a definition. It says a person of a Latin American origin or descent, especially a man or a boy. Okay, I guess a Latino would be a female, correct? Yeah, I got it. All right, so I'm just trying to figure it out. Okay, so the Latins. So come on, Latin America. Gotcha. I got it. You might think I'm stupid, right? But I'm not. It's for a reason I'm doing this. Let me go back to this site now. Well, I agree they should be barred, some of them, but there are. I ain't even gonna go there, man. And European women should be barred, and any other minority according to their definition. It said, okay, going on here, reading this from the side again here now. It says, give you a history lesson about mass incarceration wreaking havoc in Black American families, which we all know that. And because it'll be from, for lack of jobs, is what they're saying, and the lack of infrastructure, that is true to some degree. But okay, let's fast forward. Let's fast forward for a second. Let's just say you do get your reparations. Then what? What do you do? Let's say they don't give you everything you want. Like, let's say they don't give you any money for infrastructure, but they just cut you a check. Like you say, like some of you guys are saying, cut the check. What happens then? I'm just wondering, what happens? Do you now become equal to the citizens in America? Do you not become, do you now you're going to be represent a larger segment of the society where you're not on the bottom, where you're not in projects? I'm trying to figure out what happens. You can buy your way into success. I'm trying to figure it out, because if you still don't have any infrastructures and you still don't have any the means to actually hire your people and house your people and feed your people, and I'm using your words, your people, what are you going to do? You're just going to use the money to sustain yourself, and then when the money is gone, you'll be back to what you was doing previously before you had the money. But even when you get the money, given the economic condition in America right now, well, you just put a big old bullseye on your back if you get a check. because everybody and their grandmother who's struggling will know, who's non-ADOS will know that you have money, and every quote-unquote ADOS in America will become a target, because when people who don't have no money, what they're trying to do, they try to get money. And it'd be easier than knocking over a banker that's knocked you over, because it's easier than going to a bank and risking, going to jail or going to the cemetery. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, you think about everything in totality now. If you want to create your own nation, which I didn't see anywhere in here where they talk about creating any nation. I'm seeing where they say they say ADOS college debt should be forgiven, which I agree to a certain extent. It should be forgiven. Then they want to have some money here for black media. But this is stuff that you should be doing already on your own. And I know. You can tell me, well, the government should be doing this. Yeah, I understand all that. The government should. But do you have a time frame on this? Because while they're deliberating what they're going to do, if they do anything, you still got to survive. So what's the time frame? 5 years from now? 10? 15? 20? I'm trying to figure it out, man. Just trying to work with me. Don't. I know I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to make fun. Like I said, I agree with what y'all doing. Just know how you're going about it, because you seem to be attacking a lot of prominent people who have a lot of money. Also, just attacking. Like, what is up with that, man? So I'm trying to figure out, you're trying to get this reparation you're talking about, but at what cost? What cost? Hold on a second, my phone is ringing. I stumbled across this another article here, and listen to what they're saying about ADOS. They say, what to know about ADOS, a group targeting black progressives. This article is dated April 15, 2019. Now they say African descendants of slavery, ADOS, is an obscure pro-reparation group that has been attacking prominent black progressives who also support reparations. There is evidence that ADOS is actually advancing the right-wing agenda. And while it calls itself progressive, it pushes anti-immigrant views. Supporters of ADOS have carried out harassment campaigns against political political activists, rapper and reparation supporter. Oh, this guy, I'm probably gonna mess up his name. Talib Kweli, I think is how you pronounce that. Man, I'm not good with names at all, man. So I do apologize. And against progressive radio host Mark Thompson. Thompson's in favor of reparation, but he criticized ADOS and MSNBC and got into an altercation with an ADOS supporter who was harassing him, and now ADOS supporter are attempting to get him fired. Let me read that part again. I'm trying to read it as close as I can, because I'm trying to slow it down, because I naturally speak fast. I sound kind of retarded, but that's cool. Now you have ADOS supporters are attempting to get him fired from his job at SMX Radio. At Sirius XM Radio. You will go so far to try to get someone fired because you don't agree with them? And I know that's not a lie, because I've seen many of you guys on YouTube here, when you disagree with somebody, you try to get them fired. You put the personal information on. You dox them is what you all call it. You dox them and tell people to call their job and get them fired. I mean, the type of mindset that you mess with somebody's livelihood because you don't agree with them. And you guys ain't telling me this seem like kind of like on the far. Well, they got it right wing. You sound like one of those kind of groups, man. I don't want to call the name, but you sound like one of those kind of groups, man. Because I don't agree with you, I'm gonna go to that extent, just because I don't agree with you. You see, I understand what you're doing. You're trying to make sure that you guys get something and nobody else get it in the long term. You don't want nobody to jump on your coattail, because I heard y'all talk about, civil rights. Everybody benefit from civil rights, which that is true. So you want to make sure this don't happen again, but you don't have to attack people to get your point across. Again, like I said, I'm from the United States Virgin Islands. I'm not trying to jump on your coattail. If you get it, man, I'm happy for you, man. But just what you're gonna do with it. And at the end of the day, you're gonna make a lot of enemies just to get what you think is right for you. But it might backfire in your face, though. That's all I'm saying. Because when they start doing the genealogy, going all the way down the line, and furthermore, Who qualifies? How far back you got to go? 50 years back, 100 years, 200 years, 250 years? Because some of you guys who go back, you might find out that some of your ancestors who have, well, I don't use the word black, but who are black, actually owned slaves themselves. Oh, sorry, I take that back. Actually owned enslaved people as well. Okay, you might find that out, then that will automatically disqualify you from any type of reparations. Some of you might find out going back that your family came from the Caribbean at one point and migrated here, or came from South America or migrated here, or oh Lord, should I say it, came from the continent and migrated here, not through the slave trade, but before that maybe. And then you wouldn't be a descendant of American slavery. Be careful. Be careful. Like I said, some of you guys, once you open Pandora's box, you can't close it back. So I'm just sitting back here and analyzing and carefully. I mean, I can read a lot of the stuff, but to me, this seemed to be at some point the ADOS is slowly turned into a kind of attack group. Attack anyone who's immigrants, even if you're black or not. Even if you support you guys, no, you're still ain't one of us. You ain't one of us. And like you can see, you gotta have this pure type mindset, like like the Aryan nation almost, blonde, blue eye, just gotta have that pure. You gotta be this, you need to be part of us, and I'm saying be careful. Be careful. I understand why y'all doing it, believe me, I do. But at the end of the day, what will be the end game? Because you know me, I'm always towards the end game. What's the goal after that? You get your reparations, then what? To live in America as equal citizen. I guess you'll be thinking after reparation you'll become equal, and after you get your reparations, I guess the people who want to be bigots will no longer be bigots, because now you have money, so they will no longer be bigots. I hate to tell you this, but there will still be bigots. They'll just be nice bigots to take your money from you. That's all. The people who want to discriminate against you based on your color, they're still going to do it based on your color, but they just might do it with a smile because you have money. What's the end game? What's the end game? What is the goal after you get said reparation again, and what's the time frame on it? 5 years, 10 years, 20, 50, 60? I mean, how many years is gonna, how many years is gonna take to get the reparations you want? And what are you doing in the meantime? You're waiting for reparations. You still gotta eat. You still gotta school your children. You still gotta survive. With racism, that is true. With bigotry, that is true. With prejudice, that is true. You still gotta survive amongst each other, because some of you just don't seem to be able to be around each other long enough without creating a big old problem where you want to take each other off the face of the earth. We see it every day in the news. ADOS on ADOS, Don't tell me no such thing as ADOS on ADOS crime, because every race for the most part attack their own. So it's not just ADOS versus ADOS. It's just a fact. But what are you going to do in the meantime? Is it going to be business as usual until reparations is carried out? These are questions I'm asking. I mean, what's the end game? What are you doing in the interim? But hey, I'm like I said, I'm not here to attack ADOS. Like I said, I was going to be nice. I'm not here to attack them. I'm just trying to ask some sensible questions. Because I'm reading this, like I say, I'm reading from their site, and it's just, and they got a conference, and they got a conference coming up. It looks like October 5th, 2019 in Louisville, Kentucky. Buy your tickets. No, I'm good. Why would I buy my tickets for? I'm not ADOS. I mean, you damn sure wouldn't want me there. And I guess I see Yvette and Antonio, picture here. So I guess they're going to be out there to discuss, ADOS, and it said the conference seeks to gather people from across the nation around this purpose of convenience to discuss on lineage, slavery and reparation. Lineage, that's the key word right there. Lineage. I am quite interested to see what's going to come out of that conference, though. If I had a time, I probably would have gone on down there any which way, and I'm pretty sure the whole room would have been pissed at people like me because, you know, you're not ADOS, what are you doing here? So they probably would have turned at me, try to probably beat me up or something for being there, you know. But I would like to see it, you know. I might try to make my way down there October. Yeah, I might try to make my way down there, man. You see, they were looking for people from across the nation. Well, they didn't, you know. So maybe I'm gonna go down there just for talking at first-hand information, you know. Because it says, which stands for African Americans. American descendant of slavery seeks to reclaim/restore the critical national character of the African American identity and experience, one grounded in our group's unique lineage, and which is central in our continuing struggle for social and economic justice in the United States. The ADOS conference seeks to gather people from across the nation. This purpose to convene and discuss, a discussion on lineage, slavery, and reparations. That's good. That's good. It's a discussion that needs to be had. I'm not going to say not. I'm not going to say it doesn't need to be had, but you don't have to say, like I say, you don't have to attack people to get your point across. There's better ways to get it across that way, and then you're trying to divide yourself into a smaller group. Anyway, I see the dangers and I see the benefits of what you're doing. So I support you guys. I'm not here to jump on your coattail and be, I'm ADOS too, I can show you I'm not interested, man. Good luck. If y'all get what you're looking for, good luck to you, man. More power to you. I support y'all endeavors. Just be mindful of what you guys doing, because there is a flip side to what you're doing. Like I said, once you open Pandora's box, you can't close it back. And like I said, for those of you tuning into the video, I appreciate you. If you tuned in because you thought I was gonna use a bunch of curse words and so forth to express myself and cuss out ADOS, nah, I'm not into that. I understand what they're trying to do. I really do. But if they're trying to have a better life in America after they have reparations, it ain't gonna happen. I'm just being truthfully honest, because people who want to hate you based on what you look like, they ain't gonna stop. Just ask many of those people who have money who have been victims of racism or prejudice if their money made a difference. And the answer is no, it never did. So I'm not sure how you're going to change your status or how you plan to change people's perception of you, if that's even part of your agenda, or the media perception of you, because I'm sure once you get your reparations, if you get it, don't know how you're gonna make the media change the outlook on you. I know you're gonna have some money going towards black media, but how will you change the way the current media looks at you? How are you gonna change the outlook of some people might see me going down the street and see me as being all they see is my black skin, so they wouldn't know if I'm ADOS or not ADOS. Like I said, I'm using the word black for the sake of this video. All they would see is my black skin, and they will just automatically, some people even to this day will grab onto their purses thinking I'm trying to rob them, not knowing that I might have more money than they have, but just the perception to see me as a black male. Oh my God, he's trying to grab my purse, trying to rob me. I mean, case in point, I went to the store just the other day. Quick story. What it was last week Saturday, in a store called Central Market, and most of the people who shop there, or this particular Central Market, are Europeans. But I went there because that's something I wanted. I'm in there shopping with my wife, and she saw it before I saw it. I didn't pay no mind, first of all, but I didn't pay attention because I was trying to pick up some macadamia nut milk, because like I told you before, I can't drink any type of animal milk, and that one store carries the milk. So no problem, I went in there, pick up the milk. She was standing right next to the milk. I didn't pay her no mind to grab my milk. My wife said the lady looked at me with disgust, and she looked back at the lady with disgust, and then the lady saw her looking at her with disgust, and she looked at the ground. I said, well, look, I don't pay no attention. I said this loud when my wife told me what happened. I said, I don't pay no attention to people like that because they're old. They're almost dead anyway. And she heard when I said this, the lady, and she kind of looked, kind of like, oh my God, he didn't. Yeah, I did. People like that, they're almost dead. I don't waste my time when old. I mean, no government really passes any policy for old people. They pass it for the young. But nevertheless, it's a different story. It's a side note, But I mean, that happened, and it is what it is. How do you change that type of perception? So again, I ask the question: what is your end game? How will we deal with it when we get there? Well, that's an option. That's an option. Because it says that they want economics for reparations, and I get that. Economics of reparations. That's they break down the criteria and tell you what it is, you know. It says an individual would have to prove, according to this is their criteria now. This is getting to the good stuff. An individual would have to prove reasonable documentation of at least one ancestor enslaved in the United States, and they would need to demonstrate they have identified as Black, African, American, colored, or Negro on established legal documents for at least 10 years prior to the onset of the program. In addition, we would have to add that at least one grandparent fulfills both prongs of the criteria if a person is biracial. They getting it down to the nitty gritty, boy. I tell you, boy, they get it down. Hey, I don't want this video to go on any longer than this, man. I kept you guys long enough, but it is interesting. And if they get what they want, I'm happy for you guys, man. I really am. But just be careful about how you actually going about doing it, because all you're doing is making yourself become a smaller and smaller and smaller group. And that's dangerous. And you're attacking everybody else trying to get yours, and that's not a good way to go about doing what you're trying to do. There's better ways to go about doing it. But instead of having unity, you want to have division. But hey, I hear you. I want mines. I want my reparation this time. I want mines. I get you. I ain't mad at you. I'm not mad at you at all. Good luck to you. Anyway, with that, I'm out, man. You guys take it easy.